From the art of the deal to keeping it real. Live from the Simply Vegas studios, it's The Power Move with John Gafford.
Back again for another fun-filled, exciting episode. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. No, another episode of The Power Move. I am your host, John Gafford. With me to my left, as promised, a new nickname every week. It is Colt, the Wakong Cobra. Amidan. Colt.
Like Cobra.
The Wakong Cobra. Or the Mekong Cobra, I guess it should be.
I'll take that.
The Mekong Cobra. I like it.
Wow.
And then also to my left,
on my back.
Chris Connell Esquire. How are you, buddy?
All right, living the dream.
Good to see you, Counselor. Welcome back. Glad to have everybody here again. And man, I don't, you obviously would probably have to be living under a rock at this point if you haven't heard about a little show on Netflix called The SQUID Games.
I know where this is going.
You know where it's going,
yeah.
Right? So they'll be here in about 15 minutes to pick you up, Colt. You weren't expecting to go there, were you? No, just kidding. No, they're not going to be here in 15 minutes.
Joke's on you guys because I'm pretty athletic.
Colts feel like you can win it all. No, but the point,
that first guy we send over the glass.
I know, but the point is, there's a bunch of articles out there running around about business lessons in life about SQUID Games. So first of all and foremost, I have seen the show. Chris has seen the show. Colt has seen one episode of the show. So if this is going to be spoilers, but I look at it this way. If you haven't watched it at this point,
it's over.
You're probably not going to, and you're going to be able to pick up enough from this to at least be able to talk about it next time you're at a cocktail party when people are yammering about this thing. So first of all, before we even get into it, I mean, was it the global phenomenon you thought watching the whole thing?
So I'll tell you, I found that it was riveting in the middle and disappointing at the end.
A little slow on the end.
Slow. And
nice twist, but a little slow.
I mean, interesting. Like I said, I just found the ending was a little bit. Again, everybody's a Monday morning quarterback and 20/20 vision, all that. But I don't know. Maybe it was a cultural miss to me about how that ended. Like
maybe.
Like get on the fucking plane, asshole.
Yeah, right. It's your kid, right? I'm agree with that. You're selling your kid out.
Yeah, no, that.
I agree.
Did they bring Tom Hanks out? Is that why?
No,
it would have been. Yeah,
he's in season 2.
Never had such a poorly thought out ending. Tom Hanks would have gone and seen his kid like he did in the Castaway or whatever. He saw her.
Yes, he would have gone and seen
do
her.
the right thing.
No, he didn't go see. Yeah, he's not going to go fight that.
I'm
But anyway,
guessing from first episode.
If you have not seen the SQUID Games, and I'm going to fill you in for the cocktail party. All of this is a spoiler. I'm not going to say it again. The whole damn thing. We're going to talk about the whole freaking show. So essentially the premise of this show is they take a bunch of down on their luck, downtrodden gamblers that have these massive debts and are basically dregs on society and have gotten themselves to a point in Loserville where they've convinced them to go to this event where they compete against each other for a truckload of money. Now, what they don't tell them when they first sign up is, hey, as you get eliminated from this little contest, we're going to basically shoot you in the head at where you stand.
Yeah.
Clip you where you are. There's a lot of gratuitous violence in this. Not something your kids want to see. But yeah, that's basically this. So let's start with the first part of it here. Let's talk about, there's so many people. I saw a stat the other day that said of people that earn over $150,000 a year, which is a lot. I mean, that's a six-figure earner. Less than 25% of them have over $1,000 in savings.
Oh, yeah. The average American has $700 in savings.
Yeah, but you're talking about people making $100,000.
These are six-figure players because they're living beyond their means.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
So I would say the first lesson here is going to be don't live beyond your means. And I always say this. If you're parking your Lambo in a 2-car garage, you screwed up.
That's a really good point.
You have absolutely screwed up your life.
My neighborhood has multiple of those because we have different.
Unless you live in London. Then you can,
or New York or whatever. But we have some tiny little apartment and condos in our community, and there's $300,000 cars in front of $200,000 cars.
It makes no sense.
Yeah,
Under a carport.
Maybe it's like a single, lady. She just wants a Lambo. Maybe she's really into Lambo. That's her dream. Maybe if that's your thing, fine. But don't think you're making good financial decisions.
No, but I'm going to say this. But here is the one piece of financial advice that I can give people that are living beyond their means or you want nice things. All you got to do is put one step in there. You just got to add one step. And here's the step. Let's say I want to go buy a Lambo, right? And even with my down payment that I'm going to put down, because if I'm making $150,000, I have no savings. I got some money. I'm putting some coin together and I want to buy a Lambo. what I'm going to do is I'm going to go buy, and it doesn't have to be where you live. You need to find a house that you can buy as a rental that will cash flow the payment of the car.
Oh, that's smart.
Then go buy the car. If you buy an investment, and it could be investing in something that pays a dividend that comes back. It could be interest that comes back in investment. But as long as you invest that money into an asset that is generating the capital you need to pay for that depreciating item, you're fine. You can buy whatever you want. You just have to add that one extra step into what you're doing. If you have the money and the credit to go buy a damn Lambo, you get the money and the credit to go buy a house that'll cash flow.
Right.
You can do that. There's no reason not to do that. But yet so many people are just jumping right to the Lambo. They don't buy the appreciating asset that pays for the item.
How would that work? That's actually interesting you say that, but break that down just real quick. So
all right, let's say.
So like break it down on a dollar basis.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
$250 million Lambo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's say okay, a Lambo is going to cost you, if you buy a used one, whatever.
You
which
can get
was
one for $100.
No, it ain't 100.
You can get a Gallardo for $100.
All right, well, let's call it $100,000.
Okay.
All right, so because it's going to be used, whatever else, you're going to have to put probably 30% down. Agreed? Or you're going to want to?
Or you have to buy it all. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's call it. So you're going to pay, or you could. Let's assume you could pay cash for it. Let's assume you could pay cash for the Lambo.
$100,000. Yeah.
$100,000. Okay. Let's assume that. So let's, instead of buying the $100,000 Lambo, let's turn around now and go
Georgia.
and buy a house. Go to Macon, Georgia, wherever.
$100,000 house.
Let's go $200,000 house. Let's buy a $200,000 house. All right, in Macon. You got to put $40,000 down because you got to put 20% down, right? You put $40,000 down. You have this asset. You're into it 160. At 160 ballparking, what do you think the mortgage is right now? The mortgages are nothing.
$2,000.
No, not $2,000. No, it's no 30 year.
Bucks?
Why would you do 15 year?
Be 800, but you're sub 900 with taxes.
Yeah, it's easily sub 900, and now you can rent that house out for let's call it 1,800 right now. So you're positive $1,000. So now you put $40,000 down, you got $60,000 back. I would actually go buy another house if I could buy one there for that cheap.
Right.
So now I own two. I'm generating $2,000 a month. I go put $10,000 down on the damn Lambo.
Sure.
And then I'm financing it for $2,000 a month, and the houses are buying it. But at the end of it, when I'm done with the Lambo and I sell the Lambo as the Lambo's depreciating, now at the end of it, I have these assets that are appreciating.
Yeah.
And somebody else is paying the mortgage.
That's just good financial sense to buy assets that cash flow.
But people don't.
Yeah, but people don't do that. They don't, because they want what they want now. All you got to do is add that one little extra step in there, man. Go buy an asset.
I like it.
Living with $1,000 in your bank account.
I would be absolutely terrified.
I forget.
It just wouldn't happen.
If we probably all said what we have in the bank, and we would say like, I still freak out. If I told people what I had in the bank, they'd be like, "What the." Like,
well,
but
we talked about that.
We've talked about it, yeah.
Probably too much in the bank if it's
way too much.
You don't want too much in the bank because your money sitting in the bank is losing
money. I get
value.
it.
You're losing value if it's in the bank. But I agree, you should have a certain amount of bounce back in the bank.
I'm working on that this week. I got a deal that's going through, so I'll be
good for you.
Offloading a bunch of cash on a couple deals, but not preferable because I would have rather financed. But
yeah, no, good for you. We're getting ready to close on the office buildings that we own on the other side of town, which is great. And that's good. And we'll do, accelerated depreciation on those, and it'll help with taxes this year. And life is good. Life is good. We want to do. But again, living within your means and being smart about money, don't get yourself in a situation where you would ever go on a game show to get shot in the head for millions of dollars. Don't do it. I mean, it's my buddy Brad Lee always talks about, he says, what if I told you have $1 million today? Would you take it? People are like, yeah. It's like, what if I told you couldn't wake up tomorrow? Would you still take it? No, then tomorrow is worth more than $1 million.
Right. Absolutely.
So Squid Game, I saw them play Red Light.
We're getting to that. Don't skip ahead, Colt. We're talking about the premise.
That's first episode.
But I think literally the number one way that people get themselves into financial trouble in this place is living beyond their means.
And wanting now.
And in Vegas.
That's the number one way.
Have you ever seen it? Even in LA, I never saw it worse than Vegas.
I had lunch with a friend of mine today. He's a really, really successful attorney here in town. Really smart guy. Great. He had just gone to Africa on safari. Really interesting guy. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about that. He's talking about how he was in LA or whatever, and he saw these people when the checks came out and lined up at Gucci. He was just he was talking about the kids, right? He's a little bit older than I am, but he was talking about what the hell's going on with these kids? Why don't none of them have a couple of nickels to scrape together? And it got into this whole thing of, I think a lot of kids think it's really hard to exist now. I can't buy a house. I can't do all this. And there's not a lot of hope for these kids that are very young. That's kind of the message. And I'm like, yeah, but there was no hope for me when I was a kid, so I had
No.
three roommates.
See,
I had three roommates.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one, though. I think the smart kids took those checks and bought crypto.
No, yeah.
And then these-
he's talking about the
and-
guys buying
I'm not
Gucci belts for $1,000
but here's the difference. Let's talk about the one step that makes a difference. The one step that made a difference. The people that got the checks and lined up at Gucci, they missed one step between the check and the Gucci, which was this step. The wealth of human knowledge about how to make money is on YouTube.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
These kids have got on YouTube, learn how to trade crypto, learn how to trade NFTs, learn how to drive that, learn this as a business. They took those checks and made money.
Sure.
And then once that crypto builds and grows and grows and grows, now go buy your Gucci. But again, it's the one step between. And a lot of times,
Can't buy it twice, don't buy it.
100%. If you can't buy it twice, don't buy it. Like I said, I have a cooling off period when I want to buy something expensive. I'll look at it, and I don't impulse buy anything. I'll look at it and I'll cool off for 4 days. If I still want it, I'll buy it. If not, a lot of times I don't.
Don't you find that after the cooling off period, you talk yourself out of it?
I don't want it.
I've done that lots of times. It was a dream of mine to have a Ferrari as a kid. And there's times when, you have a couple cocktails, you get on that eBay bidding site and start throwing out some bids. Because you get it cheap. They hold their value. Yeah. But
what are you on the 360?
Then the next day you wake
on the
up
360, aren't
430.
430? Okay.
Because it's kind of got all the good things with 430. It's got the chain instead of the belt and all.
Yeah.
Got a lot of value. Really love that car.
All right.
I would take an old one over a new one. I'd rather have a 430 than a 488 or a 458.
I'd much rather have a 488.
No, never. No, not even close to me. 430 is the number one. But that's just my preference.
Agree to disagree.
But I've never owned one.
That's true.
And there's a reason. It's because it is not something I'm actually probably a shitty owner of that car because I don't like to put in the time and maintenance.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be wiping it with diapers like Ferris Bueller, like Cam's dad and Ferris Bueller. So I look at it, I want it in the moment, and then I realize the effort it would take, and I go, I don't need to add more things in my life to take care of. I
we'll talk about what kind of, I took the black car down to Circa this weekend, and as I was pulling to valet, I looked how dirty my car was, and I was just like, holy crap. Like, I don't know when this happened or how this happened, but I was actually embarrassed to put my car in valet.
But that's the thing. Sometimes, anyway, that's the cooling off period that I like, where I realize, I bought myself one time on eBay a 1970 Ford Mustang. I got a good deal on it, and I put a bunch of stuff in it, got all these things. Now I completely wish I hadn't gotten it. Now I'm selling it. Now
because you want it now. It's gone. So like I want the '69 Mach 1. I want the John Wick car.
And then you get it. And
if I got it, I'd start it up. It smelled like gasoline. I'd go, I'm not driving this.
I can't take
exactly
this
what happened.
work
That's
event.
exactly
The wife doesn't want to get in it.
I'm out.
They're death traps. Forget it.
I'm completely out of this. So back to the Squid Game. So the first game they play after they sign their lives away for being financially irresponsible is they bring them out and they say, we're going to play red light, green light. It's red light, green light, the big crazy person in the back. And literally it just turns into this giant girl that's got machine guns on it. When she catches you moving after red light, you just get clipped with a sniper rifle. Bang, bang, bang. People are dropping everywhere. And the people that rushed in this were the ones that all got shot. The people that took their time and kind of stacked themselves up in a row and worked together got through it. So I think the lesson here is it doesn't matter how fast you get something done. It's just that you make steady progress to move forward. If you try to go fast, bad things can happen.
Step back.
Don't rush into stuff without
digest it.
Figuring out what it is.
Step back, digest stuff. I mean, I always tell people in business, it's like being on a freeway. You ever get stuck behind two idiots that just drive? Yeah, and you're just trying to push. Sometimes if you get off the gas, you see there's a clear open lane over here, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing. Like when you start rushing shit, sometimes take a step back. Just look at stuff. I would win that game.
You would win that game all day.
I always want to pump the brakes on the crypto trading thing that you said, though, John. I think a lot of people, this is a good point about red light, green light, the crypto thing you'd mentioned.
Jumping into something you don't know.
Into something you haven't put the time into, the homework. Nobody wants to be a trader.
And look, just because I say that the wealth of human knowledge is on YouTube doesn't mean it's always a good idea. One of the worst pitches I ever got from somebody was I had a guy trying to get me to invest in a cannabis operation. Yeah. And the guy actually said to me, I spent the whole weekend on YouTube. I know everything there is to know about this. I was like, the whole weekend you spent? Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
Here's $500,000.
Good for you. Here's a giant investment.
Came right to my office after that.
No, I can see that. So the next episode, as they did this, was the Honeycomb episode. This is where essentially what they do is, I guess it's a well-known Japanese game if you're a kid, or Korean game, where they take sugar and they spin it into a flat, like pancake looking thing. All right. And then they take a cookie cutter and kind of depress it into it, but not all the way through it, just so it leaves an outline. It's like a dent in the comb. And the game is you've got to break away all of the pieces around it to where you just have the shape that was of the cookie cutter. And if you break it, guess what happens, Colt? Right in the head. Yeah, you're done.
I don't know if I'd be good
Guess
at
whose
that
twisted daughter made honeycombs?
Really made
for us
honeycombs?
this weekend.
Oh God, you did this with
You know
the
what she
toothpick?
gives me? A
The
Canadian
umbrella.
maple leaf. She gives herself a star and gives me a maple leaf.
Oh, yeah. So
Sharp edges.
So here's the deal. As this rolls out, right? As this game is being rolled out, there's one guy. There's a doctor who's kind of getting the inside scoop because apparently as the people get killed, some of the guards are harvesting body parts and selling them off on the black market to China. That's a whole nother little subplot of this deal. But the doctor's getting some of the inside scoop as to what's happening. And he's kind of getting a little bit of inside scoop. And there's a girl that's climbing up in the vents and trying to figure it out. And she sees them making these things with sugar and they kind of put it together before the game starts, right? They put it together and they go out and there's essentially 5 characters that are kind of working together. There's an old man, a woman, a gangster guy, sort of, the guy that was like the smart banker guy that, embezzled all the money and is there for that. And then the hero is the main guy who's a degenerate gambler. There you go. The protagonist, if you will. And anyway, so they're working on this team. They're looking at it. And the one guy that's like the smart Wall Street guy, he like remembers the game. He knows what it is. He remembers what it is. He's like, I know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So they have the shapes and they go, you can pick whatever shape you like. Now keep in mind, every time somebody dies in this game, it whittles it down a little more. And there's this giant piggy bank in the ceiling they dump more money into. And I think we looked it up. It's like 45 billion won or whatever. And it comes up like 38 million bucks. They keep adding money to it, right? And so as we're going along, the guy knows the game. And the one guy says to him, he goes, should we all pick something different or what should we do? Now, this guy knows the easiest shape to pick. Was it stars the easiest one?
Yeah, it's
triangle, whatever it was. So he's like, I don't know. We should all pick something different because we don't know. So he kind of sold his team out a little bit because he knew what was coming and they all picked something different.
Smart move.
Well, okay. Now, all the main characters kind of get through this thing. One of them ends up, so the main character draws like an umbrella and it's like impossible. It's like the hardest thing. And he's like, how do I get through this? And he's like, he started licking the back of it because he realized you could, if you hold it up to the sun and you started licking it, you could get through it. So this brings me to business points on this and tell me if you disagree or disagree. My first one, and in all the articles I saw, nobody mentioned this one. And I'm going to mention it, which is one of my general rules of business is if a competitor in the marketplace is making a mistake, let them.
Sure.
Let them do it. I think, business to a certain extent, if you've read Art of War, business, it's warfare, man. And if your competitors are making a mistake, don't be so quick to verbalize that mistake and not necessarily just to verbalize it to them, but don't talk about it to other people. Because somebody might go back to that person and say, so-and-so said you're screwing this up or you're doing this wrong. Mm-hmm. Right. And then not only do they get the information to fix it, but it makes you look bad. If you see somebody that's your competitor in the marketplace making a mistake, let them make it. I don't think that's ruthless. I think that's business. What says you, counselor?
Yeah, no, I think that's actually very reasonable. Yeah. People think it's cold-blooded or whatever, but it's like, this isn't a popularity contest. You're out here to do good, fair business. Yeah. I'm not here to help you correct you. You'll figure it out. Sometimes those are the lessons you need to learn personally as well. So you're not even helping people by correcting them. Yeah.
It's funny. Like, for example, this happened to me the other day. Like, here's an example. We have a space out in front of our office. You guys drive by it whenever you come here. The very first space right in front of the door. What does it say, Colt? What's that door? What's that space say?
Reserved for top agent.
Reserved for the top agent. Reserved for agent of the month. They get the #1 best parking space out there. Went to another company the other day, and in front of their business, it said reserved for broker. Yeah. And I was like, should I say it? Nah.
No.
That's off-putting.
Yeah. It is, but that's good, right? As for you as a competitor, let it. But also, sometimes what you think's a mistake's not a mistake on their end, right? Like, I know people that run brokerages way horribly, and it's brilliant for the owner's part. But when it comes down to a paycheck, and it's between feeding your kids and their kids, they can be your best friend.
Yeah.
They're going to win. That's why ruthless people go to the top a lot.
Well, they say, the rain, what is it? Rain falls on the just and unjust alike.
Yes.
Which is true. And God knows some of the people that I've been screwed out of millions of dollars with are just some of the most unscrupulous people. They're terrible people. Yep, let's face it.
Absolutely.
And yet, there you go. We continue. But the second, I think, lesson of the cookie was there's more than one way to solve a problem in business and everything. Before you make a snap decision and dive headfirst into something and do that, you've got to take a second to analyze the situation completely, look at it from all angles, and make sure that you're making the best decision on how to proceed. I think in business, especially real estate, man, realtors have what's called, they're like cats with shiny objects. It's like somebody will call and be like, hey, I've got this new magic marketing bullet. You want to buy it? Yes. And it's just so quick to dive into that. So quick to change gears, so quick to do this without really taking an honest, slow look at their business as far as what's wrong with it to see where they can improve. Yeah.
And to your point, John, as far as that Squid Game goes, understand the tools you have available to you.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah.
There's a girl that's got a lighter and she lights up the pen and warms it up, right? There is other ways to do it, but use the tools you have, right? That comes down to use your network, use the things you have, because other people are playing with different sets of skills than you have, right? Yep. If you're a tall, beautiful, whatever, attractive person, that's going to be a different skill set than maybe you have, but maybe you have an ability to be thoughtful and send handwritten cards, right?
Yeah.
People think in this business, in your business and partially mine, that the attractive ones are you all know that.
Well, it's all Colt's rich.
I mean, well, hold on. He's exceptionally attractive.
Exceptionally attractive.
Exceptionally attractive.
If you check out the YouTube channel, if you haven't seen Colt yet, I mean,
gorgeous,
breathtaking.
Oh, man,
just
look at him.
Please just don't do nasty
stallion
to my pictures.
Sitting here.
You ever see that Handsome Boy modeling school thing? Oh.
That's it.
But no, sometimes people in this business underestimate what people really want. A lot of people from the Midwest moving. If you're from Kansas, you're moving to Las Vegas. You're not necessarily picking out the drop dead gorgeous model to sell your home. You may want the person who's giving you great customer service and going to be first,
looks like
whatever.
you, doesn't
looks
wear,
like you,
wears a t-shirt,
not going to
jeans,
disrupt,
and
you're not going to make his wife uncomfortable by being too damn handsome or whatever, or whatever.
Right.
Story of my life.
Use the tools you have available to you within the rules, obviously.
Well, no, but again, let's talk about what is fair. What is fair? And again, I go back to one of my favorite movie quotes, which was Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean, when he's like, look, there's no such thing as fair. There's what a man can do and what a man can't do. Right. That's it. That's right. And it's all that matters. And that's the lessons, every time my kids say, well, that's not fair. I go, well, the fair is where you buy cotton candy and popcorn. Yeah. There's no such thing as fair. Yeah. The world is not fair. One?
Huh? Fair's got nothing to do with it.
Oh, yeah. This isn't fair. Fair's got what was that from?
That's Sean Connery, wasn't it?
The only thing I remember from Sean Connery was
Fair's got nothing to do with it.
No, The Rock. No, when he says, when he goes, can you do this? And he goes, try. He goes, try. Losers, try. Winners go home and bang the prom queen.
He goes, they're bashed.
Yeah. Do the bash.
Losers are always talking about their bash. The winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
That's what it was.
No, yeah, there is no tribe. There is doing that. So, yeah, use the tools you have.
Yeah,
use what you got.
Like you said, there's a lot of successful people based on they're hot. They're good,
but they fizzle out, depreciating assets.
Depreciating assets, and there's a bunch of them in the real estate business.
Judge yourself against them either, right? Like, they're being successful. Yeah.
No, it is. So the next episode after they survived this bad boy, they did a marble game, and this was a little bit of a mind twist on anybody because what they tell them is
marble number 3.
Yeah, marble was the next one. No, Tug of War. Tug of War. Sorry, we got Tug of War. Sorry, I skipped Tug of War. So the next game is Tug of War, where they tell them to separate into groups of 10. Right, you got to pick 10 people. So again, the doctor that was helping harvest organs for the guards finds out it's going to be Tug of War. So he comes in and tells the gangster guy, insider trader guy. So he comes in and tells the gangster guy, we need a big, strong team, as many big, strong guys as we can get, because he knows it's going to be Tug of War. So they get a big, strong team, and then our hero with his little hodgepodge of his 70-year-old man and his guy, they wind up with with their team, which includes
sub 100-pound
the absolute worst part of this entire series, and made it borderline unwatchable. Was that 45-year-old hooker?
God.
Which one?
How much of that was lost in translation?
I don't know, but just her voice. It was unwatchable.
I agree.
It made it. My wife was horrible. My wife, literally, who abhors violence, is like, will they please kill this bitch? Please kill this bitch.
Is she the one that was in the bathroom?
Yes.
When they snuck into the vent?
Okay. No, not the one that snuck in the vent. She's like
the bathroom.
She's
She was the one going, I'm going to the bathroom. Don't
going to
come
the
back.
Yes, that one. Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes.
I grew up watching
Unwatchable.
such bad kung fu movies
Unwatchable.
though, that I have a certain soft spot in my heart where I can forgive how bad the voiceover is.
Best old kung fu movie.
It's Enter the Dragon. No. Kung Fu?
No, the best kung fu movie.
36 Chambers.
Romeo Must Die.
What are you talking about?
5 Deadly Venoms.
I don't think that's okay.
What? Okay, this is a whole nother show.
Oh, no, I'll get into this one.
That's a whole nother show.
Gordon,
We don't want to go too deep on that. That's
I
crazy.
don't watch that stuff.
Yeah, no.
He makes the 36
chambers is 5 Deadly Venoms.
5 Deadly Venoms. Good.
Code Style? Come
Code
on. Anyway, so they go to the Tug of War. So they're left with our little group of ragamuffins goes up there, and the Tug of War is like on a tower that's like
Just
120 feet in the air. And guess there's like you fall off. Like when you go, they chain you. They chain you to the thing. You're done. That's how they kill you. So if you lose, you're going off the edge. And they basically have a little deal where they say, "Okay, go," and they all lean back at the same time, and they have a strategy because the old man, when I was young, I would play this game. That was a little slow to me too.
It was a
little over dramatic for him, but he told them how to win, and they had the strategy, and they ended up winning. Right? They had to take
a better strategy than just pure brute strength.
It was a better strategy than pure brute strength. And of course,
real life would have worked though.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
They would have got fucking
absolutely
boat raced.
Yeah, absolutely. It would have been like Revenge of the Nerds when what was it? The alpha betas just ran them out of the house. And
Literally boat raced.
Yeah. No. So, but I think that I think there is something to say in teams. I think there's something with planning and strategic teams, the power of many versus the power of one, absolutely there. In business for me, with real estate, with what we do, it's the power of the team. If you're not in real estate, it's really any sales business. Sales is a lonely business by yourself.
At the top and at the middle.
Yeah, I always say one log makes a lousy fire. I agree. And if you're around a bunch of other people that are doing the same exact thing you're doing and you're having and seeing success, you'll do well. I tell every single person that comes to work for me, it is about a 90-day window. It's like a 10-speed. It's just going to spin without catching a gear for about 90 days. And in 90 days, that gear is going to click. And as long as you consistently pedal, that bike will take you as far and as fast as you want to go. So I had a guy who came to work for me 90 days ago, Julian, got within the team, got within the system, trusted the process of what we were supposed to do, did not waver from what we were supposed to do.
4 closings.
Trusted plan, 4 deals in escrow this weekend. Boom.
Good deals.
That's solid. Good. Yeah, solid deals.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Solid deals. And just because.
That could be life-changing.
Yeah, he literally came in and just followed the process. Same thing, work the team plan. So if you're struggling in the sales industry, get on a team, man. Get with some other people. Get around some people that are doing what you're doing because, again, it is a lonely world to do by yourself.
Yeah, I like that. It's a great point. And also to your point about how there's not just one path of winning. Like, that's why jiu-jitsu is so successful in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, right? Mm-hmm. Big gorillas fighting, and then you got this skinny 180-pound
Hoist Gracie and UFC 1.
Just choking people out.
Just diving at their ankles.
Just
that was
suffocating your neck. That brute strength isn't always what you need, right? Sometimes it's different angles. And so.
It gets there. No, I agree. So the next episode, after we go from this, as we go to, you know what? Let's take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and pick up. We're going to talk about the marble game.
And 5 Deadly Venoms.
Don't make my toadstool come out. You don't want that. It's going to be bad.
I've never seen that.
Usually
it'd be bad for you. I just hit the wrong thing. Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can just go to johngafford.com. Where we'll share any links to the things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch
Centipede
us live.
was pretty dope, though.
And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at @thejohngafford. I'm here.
You gotta go watch Return to the 36 Chambers with Gordon.
Return?
Yeah. Return to the